Welcome to my building. The Schmuck building was built in 1887 by John and Anna Schmuck at the cost of $8,000. They were German immigrants and they really liked Beatrice, Nebraska, and they thought it was an up-and-coming community. So they built the building. They lived on the very top floor of the building in the penthouse apartment. The second floor, which is right up through that door, was rented out to various tenants. There was judges and lawyers and doctors that had offices up there. There were 6 of them. This main floor was a dry goods store. In fact, that's the original ceiling of the building. And the basement was a saloon. So they had everything here. They had dry goods, liquor. Anything they were missing was an indoor plumbing. John and Anna lived in the building until 1916. John passed away. 1917, Anna passed away. They had no children, so the building was put on the auction block. Mr. Marvin bought the building, and it became the Beatrice Daily Sun newspaper until the 1960s. My husband and I have completely restored the building, and we live on the top 2 floors, and it's on the National Historic Register. Now, this is my shop, and it's my collection of vintage clothes for the last 30 years. Really, almost 35 years I've been collecting vintage clothes. Started out as a way to decorate my home, and now I have a collection of over 2,000 pieces. Right here is a wonderful dress from the 1880s, the same era as the building. Beautiful, beautiful gown. Very high end for that time period. The aqua dress on the wall here is from the 1950s. It was a homemade dress worn to Eisenhower's inaugural ball. It almost looks like drapery material. Up above that is a wonderful dress from 1908. And we have another very old dress from the 1890s, like a visiting dress. I have lots of different things in my shop. I collect not only clothing, but hats, jewelry, just a little bit of everything. Swimsuits are always fun. I did come to different places and do swimsuit programs. That's one of my favorites from the 1950s. This is another 1930s dress, very elegant. Even though it was the Depression, some of the dresses I have from the 1930s are beautiful. And I think they bought quality over quantity. And this is a silk velvet gown worn by Mrs. Walters. There we go. And then we have some other 1930s gowns hanging on the wall, as you can see, and then some various hats. I also have wedding dresses. The lowest wedding dress here is from the 1890s. The middle wedding dress is from about 1914, and it has 42 different hooks and eyes and snaps. Very complicated to get into. And then, of course, the silk satin gown from the 1930s, very drapey. And my couple is from right at the turn of the century. That waist on that is about a 22-inch waist. And here's some more swimsuits. And if you can picture the guys in that middle swimsuit, that is from the turn of the century, from early 1900. The little sailor dress is from about the same time period, 1890s, turn of the century. And it's actually 2 pieces. There's bloomers underneath. And there is Betty Grable, the #1 pinup girl of the 1940s. This mustard colored dress, or I call it the goldenrod, is an Exarban ball gown from 1958. Very beautiful. The lady that wore it, the young girl, her father was a general at Offutt Air Force Base. Here is another Exarban ball gown. Here's the back of it. It's turquoise in the, or aqua in the back, and then you turn it and it's this wonderful lime green color in the front. But the beadwork, and this is from 1965. Mary's dad was the president of the Stockyards Bank, and she said there was about 3 other girls that had a dress just like hers, and they were princesses. And both of these dresses were made in New York City and then shipped here to Nebraska. And my fun dress, my paper dress. In 1960s, Scott Paper Towel came out with an idea: if you send us $1, we'll send you a dress. And they thought this was the way fashion was going, the paper dress. This one is made out of material that's very similar to Bounce fabric dryer sheets, and that's what it feels like. And this one could be washed and worn again. But I love the bright colors, very 1960s little shift dress. This is a wonderful piece from my collection. I just received it about a year ago. This is an opera cape from the 1920s. The lady was actually an opera singer, and she bought this coat in Chicago. And this is a wonderful dress. It was probably started out as a wedding dress from, anywhere from 1905 to about 1910. A dress like this could have been worn for a wedding, but it was also a good dress. The ladies, had to be practical, and their wedding dresses had to be worn again, like for Sunday and for teas. And then, of course, the Coal of California swimming suit. Esther Williams was the spokesperson for Coal of California, and I love the purple swimsuit. Now, there's 3 little dresses here. This door leads into my office, and these originally were found in a trunk that a man had bought at an auction, and he called me one day and he said, "Sue, I bought this trunk and it's full of old clothes, and I thought maybe you'd like to take a look at it." And I opened up the trunk and I realized they were all Pioneer clothes. So this little dress here was probably worn by a boy. Little boys wore dresses until they were potty trained, which really does make sense. And this little dress here is very similar to what like Laura Ingalls would have wore. It's kind of hard to get a really good picture of it, but it's so fun. Her mother, it's just a handmade little dress, and they never wasted anything, and it looks like her dad's shirt material for a hem. And these are called pin tucks, and they were really nice because they add decorative features to the dress. But as a young girl grew, they could let those folds out and make the dress a little bit longer for her to wear. If we go in here, this is my office, and like I said, I have lots of just fun little things all through my shop. Little bits and pieces of jewelry, little knick-knack things, makeup, old makeup cases, powder cases, little girls' dresses. This is one of my favorite little hats and purses you would have seen a little girl wear to church on Sunday morning. And here's some other little hats, and pink's one of my favorite colors. So it's always fun to put things together. Some of you probably remember old phones like this. And of course, this dress here, very, very elegant. And this is from the 1930s, where emphasis was on the back. A lot of backless dresses at this time period. And of course, every woman's wardrobe started with a basic foundation of a girdle or a corset was very popular. the stockings in all different colors too. Like I said, I do love little girls' dresses. And I have 6 granddaughters, and they all have worn little vintage clothes. So it's really fun. Here's another dress I have a long hallway. I'll try and show you this long hallway that I have, and I just have clothes lined up along it. But this would be about a 1900 to about 1905 day dress for summer wear. Look at the detail to it. Very beautiful. And a 1940s dress is hanging up there. Love the floral. And a muff. Some of you probably remember having a little muff as a little girl. And this one has a little panda bear on it. This is when women used to be able to dress beautiful around the house. Now we just throw on anything and we're good to go. This always makes me think of I Love Lucy show, because she always had the most wonderful clothes. Here's another. A lot of black hats. And here's if I can get back and far enough away so you can see it, a duster coat. And some of you'll probably know what this is. An old washing machine. It's a Maytag. Across the street, there's a furniture store, and they were cleaning out, and they found it, and they thought, I bet Sue would like that. And of course, I did. I love it. But I had a group of kids in one day, and one of the girls said, oh, a cotton candy machine. I said, no, but it sure does look like a cotton candy machine. And this is what they would have washed their clothes in. I don't think it ever was used. That's the inside of it, that wonderful Maytag. And here's a cute little boy's outfit, little short outfit, probably from the 40s or the 50s. And the swan that I have was, I had a friend that liked to dig through dumpsters, and she found this. And I said, it's the gaudiest thing I have in my shop. And a lady was in my shop and said, oh, I used to make them. And I said, what did you do with them? She said, oh, we would make them and put them on your bed or put them on your sofa. They were just a fun craft to do. And you can see where I have hankies hanging. And I hang aprons. This is my kitchen for my shop. And of course, I love bar cloth curtains, so I have a lot of those in the different doorways. This is the doorway to the hallway, and then this doorway goes to my office. You can see that wonderful pattern of that bark cloth, and they hold up so wonderfully well. This little outfit here, the pants, was one of the first A&W girls that were on roller skates, wore it in the late 30s. And some of you probably know what this is. A clothespin bag. You would have put your clothespins in and taken it outside. I still have a clothesline, and I have a clothespin bag that I keep my clothespins in. There's nothing like having sheets fresh from the clothesline. And here's some wonderful little girls' clothes. This was a Shirley Temple dress. It had her clothing. She had a clothing line. This one's from the 30s. And Shirley Temple. And the little red dress over here is a Margaret O'Brien. She was a child star of the 1940s. And some of you might remember the little embroidered tea towels. I have quite a few of those. And the nylon dresses that the ladies used to wear in the 1950s. And here's a little girl's nylon dress. And to top it all off, I have a pink oven in my vintage kitchen. We're going to head back out to the hallway. And here is, if I can get this on the camera, it's a long velvet cape. And you can see, I'll kind of go down and see how long it is. It belonged to Helen Busalis, who was the mayor of Lincoln at one time. I think she has since passed away, but she got it in the 1930s. She wore it to her very first high school formal. And this is a picture of Vernice Anderson. And Vernice Anderson was a Nebraska girl, and that's a picture of her in Paris. We don't know who the man is. We think it's Jack. But Vernice was born in Nebraska, but she went on to be the personal assistant to the ambassador at large under President Truman. And she could type 200 words a minute on a traveling typewriter. But she was in Paris, and she got a cablegram, and it says, "Love from the Milkman." And we don't know who the milkman was. But there's a picture of her with that dress, and here is the dress. It's a hot pink with black lace. Kind of see it. Very beautiful. So as a collector, you always want to have that dress and picture to go together. And here's some other little hats and shoes. There's another 1930s dress right here. And the old suitcases, the hat bags. If I can hold back, you can see some more wedding dresses. And this dress here I bought at the Burlington Antique Mall in Lincoln years and years ago. And it's really heavy and quite beautiful. And this little brochure came with it. And the lady went to design school in Chicago, and she would have designed this coat and dress. Probably got graded on it and put away and never got out again. But it's very beautiful. The fun thing's coming up, and it's my bathroom. I have just lots of fun things in my bathroom. Some of you might remember the Little Mermaids. I love mermaids. And then, of course, it looks like a bra up here. It's really a falsie from the 1930s. And then my little underwear that says, "Gone with the Wind, Off Limits." And the little underwear has a matching little bra that says, "Sweet and sour, don't touch." So, fun things in the bathroom. Purses, handbags. I even have a Kotex belt in my bathroom. And the young girls have no idea what that is. And the stockings, the little bed jackets, and the fun rubber girdles. Yes, the rubber girdles really do feel like a rubber band. Very thick, but boy, they would hold you in. And the stories women have told me about their rubber girdles, some of them I can't even repeat. And of course, can't have a bathroom without Marilyn Monroe taking a bath in it. Just a lot of fun little details that I like to add. The little hot water bottle, the little poodles. Like I said, my building is it's like 25 feet across, and it's like a football field long. So I have a really long building. And this is a prom dress from the 1950s. I call these my cupcake dresses. These are some of my favorite dresses because when I was a little girl, my mother let me play in a dress like this, and I felt like a princess when I had it on. So I have quite a few of them, but this is that 1950s prom dress. And this is, we call the vintage salon. This is my back room. And I'll try and hold the camera so you can kind of see what it looks like. Like I said, I just have clothes hanging everywhere. But it's a room where I can host parties. I have groups come for tours, and then I usually have cookies and lemonade or coffee, and they can sit back here and visit and reminisce. It's really a fun room. And I have hosted bridal showers, wedding showers, baby showers back here, and I love to decorate. So the tables all have some different things on them. This time, since it's 2020, I've been decorating with a lot of 1920s things, and I'd like to come and do a 1920s program and showcase some of my 1920s things. Hats, clotheslines. One of the fun things with the clothesline hanging in the middle is the feed sack. It looks like a big pillowcase, but this is what feed used to come in. Flour, sugar used to come in sacks like this. And big ones like this had feed in them, but the ladies would take these feed sacks and reuse them, and it would take 2 to 3 feed sacks to make a dress. So these are always fun, and I love the different patterns and color combinations. They were quite beautiful. And some of the dresses, like this little skirt up there, that little red skirt, was made from a feed sack, as well as this dress right here. And the pantaloons, the petty pants, and these were ruffled ones that were worn for square dancing. And there's another little fun little robe over here I want to make sure that I show you. And it is a chenille robe. I love the peacock design to it. It's probably from the 1940s. Up here is a wonderful collection. They look like Civil War uniforms when they were actually from the 1940s. These are West Point military uniforms, but this is what they wore at the Civil War. In fact, they still wear these uniforms today. I have the complete set. They belong to a Nebraska boy, Leonard Bohinski. He was tragically killed in 1947 before he could graduate from West Point. And he had scored the highest anybody had scored on some of the tests there. So this would have been his dress uniform, his everyday uniform, and his winter coat. And then this uniform here was my dad's World War II uniform next to Marilyn Monroe. And here is some more of my cupcake dresses. The green one, everybody seems to really like that one. And my fun lampshade. Some more of them. And then, of course, my prom couple. You can see he's got his white sport coat, and she has her wonderful red prom dress on. And if you can notice, that's by the prom couple is a drive-in movie speaker. And next to the drive-in movie speaker is this tree with a bra and a girdle hanging from it and stockings, because the drive-in movie theater was also known as the Passion Pit. So that's the Passion Pit over here. And there's some other clothes. And this wonderful dress up here would have been a ball gown from the early 1900s. And this is the oldest dress that I have in my shop. I can get a picture of some of the detail of it. Look at the sleeves on that. This dress is from 1840. and it's in wonderful condition, and it's silk dress. It was probably a wedding dress or a very good dress, but very beautiful. It said 1840s. And I have a clothesline hanging up there with crotchless drawers and long johns, and this is like what John and Anna Schmuck, who originally built the Schmuck building, this is the kind of undergarments they would have wore. And here's a wonderful fur cape and fur muff, and an old sewing machine's back here. Some other wonderful dresses. This gray and white dress that's hanging there is called a ribbon dress, and it's made from the little tiny satin baby ribbon that you buy. They crocheted it into dresses. Some of them took almost 80 rolls of ribbon to make a dress. And then we have this brown skirt and shirtwaist hanging up there. And this is like what a shop girl would have wore when she was working in the dry goods store here in the 1890s. And if you like animals and want to wear them around your neck, this one has 9 different animals. 9 different minks are hanging on that. And I'll kind of slowly turn so you can see the vintage room from this angle. I have a daughter that is a singer. She went to school. She's got her doctorate in music. She sings a lot of opera. She used to be in a lot of operas. And I bought this collection for her. And this is an opera singer from the turn of the century. She was a Swedish girl that came to America with her family. And her and her sisters all went to the New England Conservatory of Music. Her name was Clara Wollenthin. She changed her name. Her stage name was Lily Wallini. And there is a picture of Lily Wallini. And I have the cape that she has on in the picture, or the jacket. And she's got that. I've got it hanging right above. And I actually have the dress she has on too. I have original opera scores, and they're all handwritten from the turn of the century. She received 2 medals of honor from the German government for her art, for her way of singing. But her family didn't want her collection. Her family lived in Boston, and they didn't want any of this stuff, so I purchased it. So I have several different pieces and photographs of her in the different pieces, different costumes. There's a picture of her with this beautiful hat on. And here's her long underwear, and I'll kind of show it. It even has toes in the bottom, in the feet. So someday, if I ever make it to Antiques Roadshow, this is the collection I would like to take. Well, this kind of concludes our little tour of yesterday's lady. I hoped you can kind of get an idea of where I live and my shop that I have. I have lots of things to look at. Usually it takes people that come in for a tour, it usually takes them about 2 hours to completely get through it, and they love looking at the different things. I guess there's one more dress I'd like to show you, and it's from the Civil War era. This is a dress from the 1860s, the big hoop dress. If I can get a good picture of it. And that was one of the first dresses that I purchased over 30 years ago. So Have a good afternoon or a good evening. Thank you for joining me on the tour today. Bye.